Hola, hola, hola. I've just been sucker punched in the stomach with, my football team was going after a player and we didn't get him because he decided to be a mercenary somewhere else. But you know what? We forget about that. We have to talk about NASCAR 23, guys. I want to give a shout out to all the Patreon members real quick before we get started. You guys are the best, absolute best. Thank you guys as always for watching. I hope everyone has a good weekend. Enjoy the NFL playoffs. I think the Miami Heat are playing right now on ABC, which I'm not watching at the moment because I have to record this. And just hopefully everyone has a great weekend and stay warm. It's like 35 degrees every morning in Orlando, which I'm not used to. So yeah, stay warm. So NASCAR 23. I had a sinking feeling in my stomach I'd have to make something like this soon because they're doing multiple projects, Motorsport Games. They're trying to make multiple games, and I was wondering, because about NASCAR 23, because we haven't heard anything about it. I don't really know what's going on with it. I was wondering if that game was really going to be released in mid 2023, so that's assuming July or August, somewhere around there, even maybe September. September is more like the late 2023. That's you're entering fall territory there. But, I was like, is that really going to happen? And Mike Straw, who we both know very well, you guys know him, I know him. I've made a video with him before. I think I said that before. Very good guy. I talked with him as well. He wrote an article, and we're going to talk about it. We'll show here in a second. He wrote an article basically saying that NASCAR 23 is still in its designing stage and the release is in question. That doesn't mean the game's not being made. It is being made. It's in its designing stage. But for a mid-2023 release, yeah, probably not. And we'll read that article. The article will be in the description down below if you want to take a look at it. But we'll break it down. I'll give you my opinions and stuff. And so let's get into it. Alrighty, so I'll be over here. Hello, on the right side of the screen. And so again, this is Mike Straw. NASCAR 23 still in the designing stage, release in question. With things continuously changing in motorsport games and lawsuits being threatened by the developers. That was. Did I make a video on that? I don't think I did. No, yeah. Apparently, there's lawsuits being threatened by the developers. That's from the Russian developers. Yes, I'm still coughing. The Russian developers, apparently, something to do with the war in Ukraine. They had to move or something. I don't really know what's going on over there, but that's some business stuff that I'm not going to get involved in. And if those lawsuits come, I'm sure they probably have a reason for it. But again, I'm not here to get involved in lawsuits and business crap. I just want to see good games. And so the reason I'm making this because it has to do with the game, NASCAR 23. Many gamers are wondering what is going to happen to current properties. One specific game is NASCAR 23, the follow-up to NASCAR 21 Ignition. NASCAR 23 is scheduled to be the next full game released by the studio after it only released the 2022 update to NASCAR 21 last year. However, a large amount of the team has been moved to work on the upcoming IndyCar game slated for a spring 2023 release. One thing I would like to I just noticed it. I don't know if it's the way I interpret it. The first full game released by the studio, that's not true. Because the IndyCar game is a full game, to my knowledge. So I think I think Mike just misworded it a little bit. He meant the next full game released by the studio for NASCAR. Because yes, 2022 was not a full game. So the next full game for NASCAR is NASCAR 23. But the studio's next full game, and this is very important to note, is IndyCar. And it's upcoming slated for a 2023 release in spring. And yeah, I've also heard similar things. You guys can hint 2 and 2 together. You should probably know when that release might be. IndyCar, what's the big, you guys know. Okay. So that's probably what they're targeting. This has left things up in the air regarding NASCAR 23. And this was my worry. I was wondering, well, Motorsport Games couldn't make NASCAR 21 Ignition. Well, they did, but it was shit, right? So, excuse my language. But would they be able to handle multiple different projects? And my question about this was, I don't know the development team at Motorsport Games. I don't know who they are, where they are at all. We all know Motorsport Games have offices in multiple different places. London, Miami, Orlando, multiple different places. Russia, somewhere else, Australia, I think as well. But I don't know the developers working on each game. I don't know the size of the company and all that stuff. So I was wondering who's working on the IndyCar game, who's working on the NASCAR game, who's working on Heat, who's working on the mobile game, who's working on all this stuff, and is it all getting done in a collaborative and proper manner? And so when they were working on this IndyCar game, I was just really hoping, okay, if you're going to release an IndyCar game in 2023, but you're also going to release a NASCAR game in 2023, there has to be two separate teams working on that. But what Mike is saying, that there's a large amount of the team from the NASCAR devs that have been moved to work on the upcoming IndyCar game. And that is normal when it comes to publishers and developers, but it's not what you want to do. That is not what you want to do. It's normal for gaming companies that don't do it the right way. What I mean by that is, if you want to do it the right way, you have specific teams working on specific projects, whether it be lead designers, lead creators, and they stick on that project. You don't want other teams having to leave a project and be moved over to a different project. The best example I could give of this, guys, is EA. And a lot of former EA workers could tell you the same thing. Developers at EA will work on one project, but then they will be moved over to work on something else. Whether it be someone working on a career mode for Madden is then taken over and has to work on Battlefield 2042, and Battlefield 2042 absolutely sucks, right? So that happens all the time in EA, and that's why a lot of EA's games, well, A, they all feel the same, but B, they are usually never to the standard they should be, because EA just takes people left and right, and they're all working on different... Like, if you're an employee at EA, you could be working on 5 different games in a year. Like, it literally can be that way. And so it's really, really frustrating. The way you should do it... The way you should do it is someone like, for example, like Insomniac Games. Insomniac Games could be working on Spider-Man, but they could also be working on Ratchet and Clank. They could be working on a DLC, or they could be working on the Wolverine game, but the people working on the Wolverine game don't really come over to the Spider-Man game. But Insomniac Games is a very, very big company. That's my question with Motorsport Games. I don't know how many developers they have and what they're trying to do, but that's never a good sign when you have a team move over to another game to get that finished and then leave what NASCAR 23 is supposed to come out in 6 or 7 months. 6 or 7 months. You cannot have a team leaving that project and still expect it to be hit for a mid-23 release. There's no way. There's absolutely no way. 6 to 7 months, the game is in full development flow. Full development flow. Like, you have to be working on it every day, full development. That's what IndyCar is on right now. IndyCar is about 4 or 5 months away. So you can't be, that's something that you definitely don't want. He has a quote from a source. Someone did ask during a recent meeting what it meant for NASCAR 23, and they said they're not sure as it's still in the design phase. Don't really know what that means. I don't know what that means. A source close to the game development said, when pressed about why there aren't designs, it was said that there were, but then things changed within the company. The lead designer left, as well as team changes going on. Now it's being built on the back of KartCraft and IndyCar. That is, probably true. We heard that news a while ago. I think, a year ago, that it was going to be built on KartCraft. So the lead designer left. Listen, all I'm going to say is that lead designer worked on NASCAR 21 Ignition. I hope he's a good guy. I hope he's doing well. And it's probably not his fault that the game was bad, but, it probably wasn't his fault. It was probably the upper executives. But, it being built on the back of KartCraft and IndyCar, I can confirm it's probably going to be something like that. The games are going to be shared, essentially. So KartCraft, by the way, is a good game. I won't lie. KartCraft is good. IndyCar is going to be built off the back of that, and the NASCAR game, it's all going to share the same game engine. So what they want to do, and I'm pretty sure there was a meeting or some sort of investor call where they talked about this, where they want to essentially streamline their products so the games can be developed like next to each other, like in the same way, essentially. So you have developers working on each of the games, but they all feel quite similar. So that's why this IndyCar game is very big. If the IndyCar game comes out, guys, and it's not good, NASCAR 23 ain't going to be good. Like, I can confirm that to you guys right now. If IndyCar is not good, NASCAR 23 will not be good if it is released, because those two games are going to be developed in such a close way that it's going to feel very similar. There's nothing wrong with that. I can play an Insomniac game and know it's an Insomniac game. I can play a Santa Monica Studios game like God of War, and there are certain things in there that I know it's from them. I can play a Naughty Dog game, and I know it's from Naughty Dog, and again, with EA, I can play an EA game, and I will know it's an EA game. One perfect example of this is Madden is always 1 year behind FIFA. If you guys don't notice this, Madden always puts in a feature that FIFA put in the year before. Madden is always 1 year behind of FIFA. They share the same game engine. They share a lot of the same code. So when FIFA puts in a new feature, then next year Madden will have something very similar to that same exact feature. That's been going on with EA and Madden and FIFA for years. This is kind of the same thing. So when the IndyCar game is built, a lot of what is in that game will be in the NASCAR game. It just is that simple. One current employee tells Insider Gaming that the dedicated NASCAR development team currently sits in single digits. That is a terrible sign. That is awful. Horrible. What's more, they don't believe NASCAR will even see a release this year. And that is where I was reading this yesterday, and my head just went like that. It literally just went like that. You guys know I desperately really want this new game, even for the channel as well. The channel really needs the new game as well. I'm very clear and transparent about that. So it's really frustrating to see that. In my opinion, that window for a mid-23 release, I would give it a 20% chance. I don't really have a lot of hope for that. And if they can't hit October, then yeah, it won't see a release because there's no point in releasing a NASCAR game really in October or November anyways, because it goes right into the off season. So then Mike goes into will NASCAR 23 release. Another source speculated that if it does come, it's likely going to be a game built similar to the IndyCar, but the models will be swapped along with other changes to replicate the NASCAR experience. That's very close. Yeah, I mean, that's basically what I'm expecting as well. Not a surprise. Based on the latest product timeline for Motorsport Games, NASCAR 23 is scheduled to be launched in mid-2023. That will place it at June or July. June, there's absolutely no way. I'm telling you guys right now, there's no way that game releases in June. July, if it hits some sort of release, again, I give that a 10% chance. August and September, I give it a 20% chance. And if it doesn't come out in September, I believe you're not seeing it until 2024. In that terms, you have to change the name to 2024, and you might as well just release it during the Daytona 500. That's what I would do. With the game still in the designing stage in January, it raises a question about what will ultimately happen with the title. The same source said the lead designer had left compared to what's happening to what happened last year with the NASCAR 22 update. It feels similar to last year when the 2022, when they decided to make it a DLC, which was originally going to be paid, and they said about NASCAR 23. Then about a month before the announcement, it released and changed to a free update. So the thing about the 2022 thing was it was always supposed to be a DLC or a like that expansion. They made it free. I don't know what they cut out from it, but they decided to make it free. The thing about that 2022 update, I don't think it was it ever delayed? I don't remember it being delayed. I remember the 2022 expansion did come out in September, and I think it was always supposed to come out in December. So I don't think it was ever delayed. The thing about NASCAR 23 is that it could easily be delayed. Like, it could not release in the summer. So let me know what you guys think. That's basically everything here from Mike Straw's article. And yeah, I mean, a lot of it's pretty accurate. It's what I'm expecting as well. I only expect it, though. I don't really know anything. Guys, I do not know anything like permanently, like concrete. But what I expect, a lot of what he is saying, those sources are probably definitely true. He's not going to name the sources, but they're probably definitely accurate. Here's where I am on it, guys. I want to see a good IndyCar game. I want to see that game release in the spring of 2023. But if that game interferes with NASCAR, that's where I get pissed off, because the games shouldn't interfere with each other. They shouldn't. They should be kind of two separate things, but they work together to like make each of them grow. You shouldn't have to to get IndyCar to hit its release and make it good. You shouldn't have to take away from NASCAR 23. If Motorsport Games only releases one game in 2023 and it's IndyCar only, and they have for a second year running not a NASCAR title, that is unacceptable. It's unacceptable. But then again, do you release a NASCAR title and it's trash, right? You can't do that either. So they have to make a good game. Are they God, excuse me. The cough is still there. Deep breath. Okay. Are they able to make a good game? That is still the question. They could put out a game like IndyCar, but will it be good? That is the question. That IndyCar game is huge, guys. That IndyCar game is going to tell us so much about the company and what we think that NASCAR game is going to be like. And again, that IndyCar game, however it looks, plays, or feels, I am very confident that NASCAR 23 will be very similar to it. That could be a good thing if IndyCar is good. But I would expect NASCAR 23 to not be different. It's going to be on the same game engine. It's going to use a lot of the same coding. That's just how it's going to be. Motorsport Games is not going to make NASCAR 23 on a completely different game engine and a completely different coding to IndyCar. They're not going to do that. They have the same people working on them. So it's going to be a very similar type of game. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Follow me on Twitter, Instagram if you're not already. Subscribe if you're new. What do you think of all this news? And maybe I'll make an update video to this on Monday. My throat and my cough is really inflamed, so I gotta go. But I'll give you guys more of my opinions, and if Mike comes up with anything else, like another article, I'll make another video on that. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and peace out.